Hi, and thank you for joining me on another episode of the Tech Exec Podcast, where I'll help you create teams worth leading because life's too short to lead mediocre teams. As always, I'm your host, Aviv Ben-Yosef, Tech Exec Coach and Consultant, and our subject today is Anecdote Machines. Before starting, I want to let you know that I've been thinking a lot about what I'm going to be doing in the next quarter, in the next year that's going to start not too far into the future. And I'm thinking about, hey, I'm in a beautiful location, Rome, and I know a lot of people would like to be in Rome, and I know a lot of people would like to invest in themselves, like you're investing in yourself listening to this, and I'm trying to think if there's a way to incorporate the two together. I've got a few things, a few ideas I'm considering. I'm, tentatively naming it the Rome sessions. There are a few options like one-on-one work or workshops or strategy retreats. I would really appreciate your input if you're a listener, and I know that it means that you care about this topic. If you would click the link in the show description to just let me know if any of those interest you or none at all, so I would know where to best place my attention and efforts. Thank you. I would really appreciate that. It would mean a lot to me. Now let's talk about anecdote machines. You probably didn't know it, but there's an anecdote machine very close to you, I'm guessing right now. Those anecdote machines usually have a different title at work, which is a CEO. So many of the execs I work with have this issue. It's not just with tech executives, where we're talking about how you're operating and collaborating with the CEO, and there's a major issue here. CEOs are often overwhelmed. They have way too many things on their plate. They have to do so many things, and that means that they cannot drill down into everything. They cannot have an in-depth attention to detail for everything that's going around. That means that for many things that they're doing, they're relying on very little data. And that's why I call them anecdote machines. So often when I talk to CEOs, I'm trying to understand what's bothering them, why they think there's an issue, etc. It boils down to something like, something happened twice. Boom. Now, I get that. I would probably be the same if, I would have someone doing some renovation work at my house and I would twice notice an issue. Not being an expert and not having the ability to just be there all the time, getting two bad signs would immediately make some lights go off for me. I would be immediately wary, start to look into things or second guess them, because that's what we do, especially when we're out of knowledge in a specific topic or we don't have a lot of time. We rely on these anecdotes and then extrapolate from them. Most of the times that's something that we do unconsciously, and yet that's something that we do. Now, when you're doing it like that, what happens? When the CEO notices one release that wasn't good, one time that you didn't provide feedback correctly, or maybe you didn't speak up at the right time, or something like that, when two of those happen, CEOs often start thinking, what else is going wrong over there that I'm not aware of? I noticed those two things, and those are basic. If I notice those, what else is going on? That's something that always happens. And that means that you can very quickly find yourself in a position where you lose the CEO's trust and you don't even know it. Because as far as you're concerned, we had a bad release. There was a bug there. I missed an email. Whoa, nothing major, right? And you're right that specific instance probably was not major. However, when that paints how you are viewed by the CEO, it can become something a lot more critical. So what do we do? First of all, you need to understand this. By realizing that this happens and having this name for this concept, I know that for many people I've worked with, that alone really helped them be aware of it and start thinking and recognizing when it was happening. Second, another thing that you want to be doing is realize that you have to play the game. This is not about politics, but this is about understanding that you have to drop in a few of your own anecdotes into the machine. So don't only have the CEO witness you or be in contact with you when things are not working out, when there's an issue. Let the CEO, let others in the company know when things are actually going well. have regular communication about your wins, about things that succeeded, about experiments that you've done. When you do these, you're adding more data into it, adding more data points, and making each of those bad data points have less weight. Yeah, usually one bad thing outweighs one good thing unless it's amazing. And that means that you have to constantly be in contact with everyone around you on the business side to ensure that they get exposure to what you're doing and understand what's happening. And third, whenever you do notice that there was an issue, you cannot just brush it off. You want to ensure that people understand you take things seriously. You want to ensure that you can show how you're working on things, how you're tackling things, how you're learning from them, what was a specific issue and nothing systematic. And yes, this might require a bit more work as opposed to just saying, yeah, don't worry about it. But when people are already worried about something, just telling them don't worry about it often doesn't actually solve the issue. It might even just make it even worse, because then they're thinking, what? They're trying to gaslight me or whatever. Don't just say, don't worry about it. Say, accept the issue, recognize it, talk about what happened, talk about what you're going to be doing, and take full responsibility of it. Don't just say, yeah, that person or that day or that system, whatever. Take responsibility, say what you're going to be doing, accept it. Only by doing that, you'll be able to win it when it comes to how the anecdote machine operates and get things in a situation that creates a healthy relationship between you two and nothing that actually gets worse with time. That's it for this week. Thank you for joining me. As always, check out the show notes for a link for my newsletter, where you're going to get every week this podcast, a video, an article, a bunch of cool stuff. And also you'll see in the show notes the link to the quick one-question survey about the Rome sessions. I would really appreciate it if you took a minute and answer it. Thank you. I'll see you here next week.